We are here to commemorate the yard site of Zeidy Weiss, Rab Tzvi Asher ben Rav Chaskel Halevi, my grandfather, the father of my mother, Devorah Bennett. Zeidy was nifter on Chaf Aleph Av in the year Tavshin Samach Gimel, the year 2003. Zeidy lived a very interesting life, a life full of hardship, a life full of challenges, and a life full of very fulfilling rewards. His relationship with his family was number one. The incredible relationship that he had with his grandchildren was legendary. Some of the most incredible and fondest memories I have as a child are together with Zeidy. And I don't know about anyone else, but I've had the many opportunities to have situations in my own life together with my children and grandchildren, and I've lived with the life of what would Zeidy Weiss do. I think that's a lesson that for all of us, and we'll get into that very briefly. He was born in Frankfurt, Germany. He came through Cuba to America, to Brooklyn at the age of 11 years old, a child of immigrants. It was a very hard time for that tekufa, for Yidden in America. Many of them had to work and could not really get a good yeshiva, solid education. This family was struggling to make it in America. Both grandpa, Zeidy's father, and the children themselves. Zeidy was the oldest of four brothers and felt a very big responsibility to help out and left yeshiva at a very early age. I don't believe he was in yeshiva Tarvadas for more than a year or two or three, and then unfortunately had to go to work and went to work. But as everything that he did it with full heart, he did it with gusto. And Zeidy's work ethic was unparalleled. A work ethic that he put into all of his children and many of his grandchildren. Some of the grandchildren will watch this and remember working together with Zeidy, first in the Lower East Side. I remember that. And then in the store in Cedarhurst. The work ethic is something we all remember. It is a very big part of Zeidy's life. There are so many ways to describe the life and impact of Zeidy Weiss. But first and foremost, we need to discuss his relationship with Bobbi. Their relationship, Tzilan Giyar and Bobbi Weiss, was something to behold. What an incredible relationship between husband and wife. They were zeicha to be married for over 50 years. The way Zeidy brought coffee to Bobbi in the morning, the way he made sure that she had her New York Times, the way he spoke with her, the way he dealt with her, the way he treated her. He treated her as a princess, as a queen, something that we all were completely enamored with. And I can only say for myself, something that had a huge impact on me and Simi as we raised our family. His dedication to his children, the advice, the guidance, the shoulder, the sagely, seicheldika way that he approached life was something that everyone, both family and friend and acquaintance, always came to him for. Many of the other words to describe Zeidy was perseverance. He had struggles in his life, was not a person that didn't struggle. On the contrary, he had many struggles, both financially and of course physically. As everyone knows, Zeidy had tremendous visual impairment. He didn't let it stop him. Nothing stopped him. He was indomitable. He was a person who persevered, who absolutely went for it all. He loved to drive, and when he couldn't drive anymore, he did not let his visual impairment stop him. He took the train to work. He loved music. He so much wanted to enjoy music. He taught himself piano, would work on that Steinway baby grand. That was the Gashmiya stick. He saw that computers was way of the future. He didn't say, oh, it's for the next generation. He hired someone to teach him computers because there was no mountain too high for this man to climb. And that is a lesson for all of us. Don't let any challenges, whatever they might be, get in your way. In his learning, he always felt that he had lost an opportunity as a child because he had to go to work. He wasn't able to learn. So he started a shir in his house. And a lot of his friends, Balabatim, would come to his house once a week. They would learn. And I remember walking into the house and seeing the sight of my Zeidy together with a Magid shir, with an entire table of Balabatim, learning Gemara. And I remember going to his very first siyum that he made a Masechta Kedushin, how proud he was, how proud we were of him, that it was a ruchniistic person who really aspired to have much more in his life than his life allowed him to have. And indeed, he achieved that ruchnius. Family was number one. Who could forget the historic and legendary Pesach Sederim? We all remember every move that Zeidy Weiss made at his Pesach Seder, sitting there like a melech, Bobbi making sure that the table was beautiful, and Zeidy giving over Vigada to Levincha in every possible way that Vigada to Levincha is supposed to be, making sure that the children had prizes, that they were interested, that they were tuned in, that the Afikoman was exciting, that the Seder was exciting. How much did we learn? How much have we imparted in our own lives and our own Sedarim from that example that Zeidy left us? But more importantly than anything else, a good word. Always a good word. A good word to a family member, a good word to a friend, and a good word to a stranger. That smile, that comforting smile, and that good word. How much we learn from being a happy person. Ezehu Asher Hasameach Bechalkai. Zeidy Weiss was a rich man in every way. He was a rich man in family. He was a rich man in personal life. He was a rich man in everything, and we all miss him so greatly. Zeidy Weiss, who was a world-class Baal Tefillah, who gave over so much to so many at Yom Naroyim time. I personally had the zchus to learn the nusach and to give over many, many years now since Zeidy taught it to me personally. The nusach, may the family have Nechama. May all of us remember Zeidy for the beautiful person that he was, both inside and out, and may all of Klal Yisrael be better off for having had a person like Harry Weiss.